So I just thought about this, but you know how people like to complain nowadays that we're living such dark times and everything is super bad nowadays? But like, I was thinking, aren't we living like in the best time in history right now? I don't know, because I feel like we are. I mean, think about it, we have so many luxuries. I'm not even talking about business type of stuff. Like, you got so many more business opportunities. Like back in the day, if you were born, a peasant or whatever, you were gonna die like that too. But now it's not easy to make it like some people might portray, but it's possible if you really try. And at least it's possible to, maybe not, be broke and become a millionaire overnight or a millionaire at all, but you can get out of the situation, like you don't have to, you can even not go to college if you want to. Now, college is a pretty recent thing too. Like, I'm thinking about how was it really to live in like the Roman times, because the kings really lived worse than like you probably live now, They had a bunch of diseases, they had, what I'm saying? Like, the best thing they had was like, they could eat fruit whenever they wanted to. And like, it's like, you can do that too, what I'm saying? And they had to worry about like being assassinated or, I feel like not even a king would wish to be like a normal person in our age. And I don't know, I feel like we complain a lot about how we feel nowadays, how the world is so unfair, the world this, the world that, I wish I was not born right now. And while it's true, we're born, it's that thing, we're born too late to explore the world or the earth and too early to explore the space. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we have so many good things. Like, we have so many good things. Now, we do have so many bad things too. I don't necessarily think that internet is a good thing. I think it's really helping a minority, and it's a bad thing for a majority. Now, we could also look at the closer time frame, maybe, like people that were born in the 1960s, the 1970s, that kind of time period. Well, for me, I had communism, so that was not better than today. But where there was like democracy in the States, for example, I think, don't quote me on this because I'm not a super history guy, but I think the States always had democracy, but I'm not sure how it was with like, I don't know, but do people do say that like those were like the golden years because there's a lot of Hollywood movies and all that. Now, maybe, maybe, but at the same time, like maybe life was simpler. And now I feel like that's the closest time to when it might have been better than it is today, because it's pretty much the same as it is today, just without the bad, maybe. But then again, I feel like the job market was harder, or not the job market. No, that's it's the opposite. The job market is harder now. I'm talking in the sense of if you're trying to get a business or something like that. Now, it was probably pretty easy to invest too. It's like could buy a house way easier and stuff like that. And I don't know, relationships were easier, were like, I don't know, everything seemed more simpler. You know, it's like girls had curly hair, guys had mustaches and V-necks. I still wear V-necks. I don't care. I feel they're cool. They're fire. They're fashionable. And the Rico ones wears them too. So that means I'm doing something right. But I don't know, like that might be the closest time to maybe being better than it is now. Maybe. And we don't know. Like the people that say, like the people that are old now, that were, you know, born in that time frame, do say that it's like the best time ever. But then again, I say that, you know, like the, I don't know, 2000, early 2010s were the best. You know, everybody says 2016 is the best year. It's because we always remember the, we don't really, it's not necessarily the years, it's more so the period in our life, you know? Like, unless you were like 16 in 2020 or something like that, you know, you're always going to feel nostalgia for the time you were 16, maybe even for 2020, you know. Like a lot of my friends are like, yo, that was a golden age, we were just playing video games and going to online school. And I'm like, I mean, that's what you remember, but like it was really boring. It was not wasted years, but damn near, bruh. I remember I was not doing shit. I was just, I'm not gonna lie, I was just working out and gooning and playing video games. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's what I did the whole day, you know. I don't really have nostalgia for that. Like, it was a kind of a slop period. It was not all that well, all that good, right? So I don't know why people say that. I mean, people are blinded by nostalgia. They always look at the good things because the good things get remembered, the bad things not really. Which, in turn, could be a motivator. Now that I think about it, because it's like, well, just remember that, you know, whatever you do, if you know, you mess up, you know, say a dumb thing, people forget. People don't remember shit like that, you know? Like, people only remember the good stuff. So if you did like a bad thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, you shouldn't be, you know, people forget, time forgets, time passes. And yeah, and a lot of people get nostalgia for just about every period. Unless the period was so absurdly bad, you don't get nostalgia for it. But for the most part, you know, like if you ask someone like, do you have nostalgia for 5 years ago? Independently of when you ask that question, they most likely will say yes. You know, the times were better. They would most likely say the times were better. Again, unless you're talking about the, you know, 2020 till like 2022 kind of, that kind of era. I think most people, a lot of people would be rational and be like, no, I don't really miss that. But a lot of people now are like, oh my God, that was such a good time. Not really, bro. You just play video games and you did nothing the whole day. I don't classify that as a good time. Now, if you were maybe older and could get the opportunity to work on your business or something, maybe that was a good time. But for me, you know, I was like too young to work on businesses at that time. Because I do think there's like the too young. Come on, I'm not gonna work on my business when I'm 10. I was not 10 in 2020, but you know, funnily enough, I think I started trying to get, you know, money online in like 2021. So yeah, I think I was 14 in 2021 if I do my math right. Unless we're talking about a very specific time frame, a very specific pace. Not very specific. Probably many of you, almost all of you, are from the US, but still, I doubt it was all that good. Like, I doubt it. You do see a shine in people and a happiness in people in those movies, but then again, you see that same shine in 2016, and bro, you see the same shine in kids today. Like, kids today, in like a couple of years, they're gonna be like, yo, remember 2026? Yo, those were the times, man. And now you might not think like that because you got older. Like I said, the older you get, like if you ask a 60-year-old do you have nostalgia for 3 years ago? Most likely they would be like, I know I said that before and I'm kind of contradicting myself. I just kind of realized that it goes up with age too. So if you ask a 60-year-old, yo, do you have nostalgia for 3 years ago? They're going to be like, probably. They're going to be like, nah. It was kind of the same, because they lived so much. You ask a 18-year-old if they have nostalgia for 4 years ago, and they're going to be like, hell yeah. Maybe even 2 years ago. Maybe even a year ago, bro. Because they lived so much less. It's just proportion. It's just math. But unless we're talking about that period, which again, I doubt it was any better. Now we have so many things that you can really, like, I don't know, you can have so many more things. We know so much more about health, for example. Like, before, people were like, smoking a bunch, and now they didn't get sick from the smoking. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they didn't get sick because they didn't know smoking was bad. So it's kind of the what's the effect called? Placebo? The placebo effect. So, when they thought that smoking was actually good for them, it didn't damage them. Now people know that smoking is bad and they smoke and they get a whole bunch of problems. Also the fact that there is more pollution now and all that, but that's besides the point, Like, people were overall healthier back then, kind of, but they still didn't really have the knowledge that we have now, and I don't know, some, they could die earlier, like we're gonna live way longer than those people, for example, most likely, right? And I don't know if it's fair to judge if we were born in a bad period if we haven't even experienced the whole period, if you know what I mean. Like, they're like, oh, but they had Michael Jackson. I mean, yeah, but we have Lil Uzi, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'll take Lil Uzi. But but for real, like, how do you know that a star won't be born in like 20 years? You know what I mean? So how do you know that a great-ass invention won't be creating in 20 years? You know what I mean? And in 20 years, the people that were born in, 1960, they're going to be too old to experience that, most likely, right? So, you know what I mean? I don't think you should judge a period of time when it hasn't even happened, which is, I don't know. I mean, you can change when you decide to be born, but when we look at periods that have finished, most of them were not that good. They had worse, bro. They were worse. Oh, and I want to mention. I see now my history knowledge is picking back up. People in 1960 to like 1989, I think, bro, there was literally like a Cold War going on. Like, people were scared of nuclear war every day because the US and Russia were beefing, and nothing really happened, fortunately. But I said fortunately. Okay, I know I mumble sometimes, but I need to say it's only, you know what I'm saying? You don't think I said something else? Of course, that's such a good thing that it didn't happen. who knows, bro? That's like the biggest what if in history. Probably, who knows what would have happened if the war actually happened? Who knows, bro? We might all be speaking Russian. I don't know. And I don't know. I feel like while it's not linear, like there might be some periods in time that were worse than others. I feel like it's low key in a uptrend the way life is going. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. The way it's kind of going looks like it's getting better and better. Now, a huge creation now was the invention of AI, which I don't know, might just erase humanity. I don't know, bro. I don't know what would happen, bro, with AI. People say that it's just tools. I don't really believe that. You know, it's more than tools because a sword doesn't have a brain. I mean, AI doesn't have a brain either, but I mean, yeah. But come on, man, we should be more optimistic. We're living in a pretty good time. We're at least living in like top 3 times, bro. Like, stop crying so much about, oh, I was born in this wrong ass time. Nah, people were scared back in the day. There were wars. There were so many wars. We didn't have, you know, we didn't have like a big ass war in a long time. So, and hopefully we don't. Because now things look like they could change in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the future will go. I say that we are not in an uptrend and things might be getting better. And I cannot believe they will still get better, maybe till like 2000, at least like 2100, maybe. I don't know. Maybe things will, and I think things peak. I think things might peak around there. I don't know. I'm not a timologist or whatever. I can't predict the future. But if the AI is, there might be an AI revolution. I'm not gonna lie. There might be, with the male loneliness epidemic, like I don't know. AI girlfriends might really like fuck up society. I'm not gonna lie. When they do decide to do mass market batches, I don't know. I'm just going, because that shit's probably worse than corn. I'm saying with a C because that's probably not a very good word to say on YouTube, but you know what I mean. So I genuinely wonder what will happen. I'm kind of curious. I wish I will know. Maybe I will know. I mean, I will know maybe. But yeah, I guess we'll see and find out. But yeah, you can't really look at the past and be like, oh, I wish I lived there then. Because even if things turned out to be fine, like technically there was no Cold War, but you still lived with stress every day for like 20 years, that's not nothing. Like looking back, in retrospective, like, of course, oh yeah, I wish I lived that time. There was like, everybody was chilling for like 40 years, but like, they were not really chilling, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think we should be more grateful of the time we live in, because, what's the chance of being born in this time, bro? Like, at least, like, it's pretty decent, like, you could have be born in the Middle Ages and be a peasant. You could have been born a slave. You could have been born, a caveman running from the, I don't know, big ass animals or whatever. Like, bro, you're pretty good. You're pretty good. Okay, so yeah.